everyone, this is Dawn. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you part 2 of my Ice Castles scrapbook layouts. If you didn't catch last Monday's video, that's part 1, the first 2 pages, and now I'm going to do the next 2 pages. I took tons of pictures, so I want to scrapbook as many as I can. So I'm going to use flip flaps for this page. I printed everything out in 3x4, so I'm using a couple of 3x4 flip flaps, and then my other pictures are 4x6. So this is generally the layout. I kind of flip things around and change my mind as far as the positioning of where I want the photos to be, and we'll continue moving them around once I start with my layout. Okay, so let's get started. My base is going to be white, and my papers are from the Gnomes for Winter collection. I'm also using this doily and flourish from Sweet Memories card making workshop, and also snowflake dies from my stash, and these tags and tabs dies also from my stash. Okay, so I'm going to try to get away with using just these 2 pieces. It figures that the patterns that I want to use for this layout are on each side of the paper, so I'm going to hopefully be able to make the layout with just 2 pieces. Okay, so I've created some mats. I'm going to double mat all of my photos. So I've got some periwinkle and then sapphire mats for my photos. So I'm measuring the largest one, and then I decided that my center piece of this plaid needs to be 8 inches tall, which means that my other 2 strips need to be 2 inches tall. Okay, so then I'm going to trim the 2 pieces of snowflake paper down to 10 inches across, and having them sit at the top and bottom, it's going to give the illusion that this is a single piece of patterned paper underneath that wide strip that's in the center. So we'll go ahead. I'm looking at the pattern and seeing what I'm going to be trimming off, and I want to leave as many of the snowflake design in the paper as I can. So I'm just kind of looking at it to see what's going to be trimmed off. I think that works. And just making sure everything's even. And that's how it's going to be placed. Okay. So I'm going to do the same exact thing for the right side. They're going to kind of mirror each other. Okay, so when you push everything together, the plaid lines up and it's a continuing pattern. All right. So now I'm just going to pull in my photos and kind of figure out the placement. We'll get the mats underneath. I do fuss with this layout quite a bit, so hang in there. I want to make sure I like what I'm looking at. Okay, so of course the larger photos are going to be in the center, and it's centered from side to side and from top to bottom. And then I have my 3x4 pictures. So I'm lining up my mats. I'm just kind of laying everything out. And I wanted that large 4x6 to be on the right side because of the direction my husband is facing. I want it to be in. And then I'm looking at which flip flaps and what photos. I want to balance out those blocks of black. I snapped a picture as we were leaving when it was completely dark out and you could see the ice castles up on the hill. So we'll balance out the black and then also the red with my husband's jacket with a picture of us. So I'm just kind of moving things around and looking at the placement, getting all the mats set up. All right. So I'm going to do hidden journaling on this one. So it's going to be under that left flip flap. All right, so I've cut some pieces of sapphire glitter paper. They're 1/4 inch each by 12, and those are going to line each of those plaid blocks. And then off camera, I've cut a whole bunch of snowflakes and the flourishes and the doilies in glitter paper. So I've got a variety of colors: sapphire, white, silver, and periwinkle. And then I'm going to bring in my tags. I've got 2 different tag sets, and I'm going to die cut various pattern papers from Gnomes for Winter. Just a little pop of these other patterns. I have them peeking out from the edges of the photos. So I can get a couple more of those patterns in. All right, so here's my bag of snowflakes that I keep. And they're all pre-cut, and I can use them on cards and layouts, and I tend to use a lot of snowflakes, so it's always good to have them all ready to go. I tend to cut them in big batches and keep them. And I'm just gonna kind of lay things around and see what I like. And then off camera, I went ahead and slid this logo for Ice Castles in, and I matted it on some of the pattern paper, and I added a zip strip at the bottom in that flip flap. And now I'm going to create a journaling block for the other flip flap. So this stamp set is the stamp of the month from January, I believe, and it has a die that looks like notebook paper, and then it has a stamp that looks like notebook paper. So I'm going to stamp this out in periwinkle on white daisy. And after I got all done with my layout, I decided I had too much to say, so I needed to type it out and print it. So I wound up not using the stamp, but I still used the die. So I printed everything out and then put it on that die cut. So you'll see a picture at the end of what it looks like with the journaling on it. But this is the idea. If you have less to say, it would fit on there. So I've just got this little piece of journal notebook paper, and I'm going to put it on some periwinkle, and then I'm going to slide that into my flip flap. And after I attach my flip flap on the outside of my page protector, you'll be able to lift it up and see my journaling. Okay, so that's the basic general layout, and now I'm going to bring in stickers. So I've pulled a couple. I like to cut my stickers from the carrier sheet because I know what I want to use, but I don't exactly know where I want them to be on my layout, so I don't want to actually commit to sticking anything down yet, so that I can kind of move them around and decide on the final positioning. So I like this title. It says Winter Memories. So I'm going to use that. As the first 2 pages of the layout, I have ice castles cut out in large letters, so we know what we're doing and where we are. So I've got Winter Memories, and then I'm going to layer in some of these die cut glitter paper doodads, and I'm going to tuck some of those in above the picture, and then a flourish by my title, and then I'll tuck in those tags on the left side. And then I was thinking I was going to use those word stickers on the left page, but then you'll see I changed my mind. I'm just kind of moving things around and deciding, checking if there are any other stickers I'm interested in using, and I think this will be good. Okay. So now I'm going to start gluing things down. So we'll just get started with the first one, and then we'll do the rest off camera. Well, most of it off camera. So just laying down those background pattern papers, making sure that's centered. Okay, so now that's all done. And my photos, I'm going to start with the center, and those are going to go direct with tape runner. So I'm centering those large photos from side to side and from top to bottom. And lining up using the dimensions on my Versamat. Actually, I have a little bit extra at the bottom there, but that's okay. And then I'm going to leave more space above these 3x4 photos, and I've popped them with foam tape so they can slightly overlap the center photo, but not cover the actual photo. So the overlap is on the mat. So it's going to give the illusion of a full mat, and you'll be able to see more of that plaid paper peeking out from each side. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the right side to mirror what's on the left. So we'll get that one down, and then I've also got foam tape on each of those other 3x4 photos. So the flip-flops are a great invention to be able to add more photos to your layout. And then you can also hide journaling. I believe the 3x4s are still available. So if you're interested in those, I'd suggest getting them as soon as you can before they sell out. And hopefully, fingers crossed, Stampin' Up! Will decide to carry over our flip-flaps and make them over there. So now I'm just placing some of these elements around my photos. And then I found some of this Sapphire baker's twine from Close to My Heart from years and years ago. I'm going to use that on my tags. And then I'm going to bring in some Sapphire ink and just ink on the top of these tags just to give them a little more definition so they stand out sitting on top of that plaid. And I'm just doing the top part because they're going to be tucked in and you won't see the bottom, so why bother taking the time to ink them? So just inking around the tops, and then I'll add some of that baker's twine to each of these tags. Just folding it over and making loop and pushing it through and then trimming up the excess. And we'll do that with all 4 tags, and then 2 of them can get scooched under that left photo, carefully picking up that foam tape, and then we'll place those down. And like I said, I do fuss a lot with the placement of the snowflakes and the various colors, and now I'm going to commit and start gluing some things down. So just using little wet glue. Sometimes I have to pick things up and move them around a bit so I can tuck things under. So I'm trying to work quickly so I can get things down. We'll get that flourish. And then my title, I decided I wanted to pop that as well with foam tape. So we'll get that flourish glued down. And then we'll put our title down. Okay. And then I can start working on the right page. All right, so I'm looking at it and seeing if there's anything I want to have down at below my pictures. We'll work on that in a second. So I'm going to tuck those tags in, and there's a spot for one of the stickers. Okay, so I'm going to commit and glue those guys down. And then I'll add another snowflake. Get that down. If you haven't tried Close to My Heart's glitter paper, oh my gosh, it cuts beautifully with thin cuts and on the Cricut. So I highly recommend it. And I do believe there's still a bit in stock. So there's a variety of colors to choose from. So you have one more month to shop from my website, and it'll be shutting down April 30th. And then May 1st, I'll be starting up with Stampin' Up! and we'll carry over, I think, a few surprise products there too. So stay tuned. There's changes happening, but I think it's all going to be good. So I decided to put a flourish on the left page at the bottom of that picture. And then I have a spot for that other sticker. And then I do fuss around with these snowflakes and the different colors. And that flourish, I want it on that page, but I'm still wondering where it should go. So just gonna fuss around. You don't know till you actually see it. So we'll try it down there. No, I don't like that because it's too much of a mirror of the left page. We'll move that around and it goes back to where it started. So, and then fuss with those snowflakes and change out the colors. We're getting there. We're getting there. So I'll make a playlist of, well, I have a playlist of all of my scrapbook layout videos, and I'll put a link at the end of this video. So if you want to see more scrapbook layout videos, you'll be able to. And if you subscribe, you'll be able to find all of my videos. Okay, I think I want a blue one and a white one, and then the sticker is going to get layered over. And we'll get all those glued down in a second. And then off camera, I found another small sapphire one to place below that photo. Okay, we're getting there. And I'll get all those glued down. Okay, and then to finish off, I have some of these glitter gems. These are the old bluebell color, and I think they're pretty close to periwinkle. I like them, so I'm going to scatter a whole bunch of those all around. And then I'll have some close-up shots for you. Just a second. So I will make a list with links of all the supplies that I used, and you'll find links for what is still available in the description below. And make sure you click on my photo to subscribe and leave a comment or a like. I'd appreciate that as well. So here's some close-up shots. And I do believe the Gnomes for Winter collection is still available. So I'd get on that right away before it all sells out. Lots of close-up shots of all these pictures. I appreciate you watching. Again, if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button, and then you'll be able to find all of my videos. And thanks for watching.